so today's video is going to be, as you can tell from the title, dupes for popular high-end products. If you're like me, you're literally buying everything that everyone says you should buy, and sometimes you feel like, I actually have this in my collection already, or I have something quite similar. So honestly, I know we do this a lot, we kind of push a lot of products out there for you and say go and get it, but you really don't have to. And not every day £40 on an eyeshadow palette, like you can definitely save your money and get something a lot cheaper. So I thought I'd show you some alternatives to these popular makeup products and stuff, and I actually had a lot more to show you, but I want to kind of save it for another video. So I could probably do like a part 2 to the video just so that it's not too long. First one I thought I already had, but I can't seem to find it. But it is the MAC Studio Fix Fluid Foundation. Now I was able to get a sample from the store. I wasn't going to go out and buy another one because I know I would use it. I actually don't use MAC foundations anymore just because I feel like they oxidize. Like I feel like they smell like paint, especially the fixed fluid. Like if I open it, it literally smells of paint. If you are looking to get the Studio Fix Fluid, the alternative is the Revlon Color Stay. And this is the combination oily skin one. They have one that's like for dry to normal. The way I am kind of picking these items are more not so much color match, but also the formula as well and how well they both work and if they have similar ingredients and stuff like that. So I feel like in terms of consistency, the Color Stay is quite thick. I feel like it's quite medium to full coverage. This one dries just a little bit faster than the fixed fluid once you apply it to your skin, but in terms of consistency, it is pretty much the same, and they both last the same amount of time on the skin. The next popular item is the Urban Decay Naked Skin Concealer, and it looks like this. And for the alternative, I went for the NYX HD Concealer. I feel like they have the same formula. The Naked Skin is supposed to feel very weightless on the skin, but gives a nice like medium coverage. So when you have it on your skin, it doesn't feel like you have a lot of cake, like that cakey feel. And I feel like the same thing for the NYX one as well. They both apply the same. They're not the same color match, but they kind of do the same thing. And when they apply into your skin, they apply pretty much the same way. The only downside to the NYX one is the shade range isn't the best. Like I feel like the one below this, there should be shades in between. They both kind of give that medium to full coverage without feeling too cakey on the skin. The next item is the Hourglass Veil Primer. The dupe for this one is the NYX Angel Veil Primer. Now in terms of the ingredients in both products, they have similar ingredients, so they will tend to do the same thing. They both give that blurred, soft focus finish, that matte finish to the skin. They both leave a white cast. The Hourglass one is a little bit more runnier than the NYX one. So they're both supposed to like minimize and kind of blur out your pores. It wasn't a huge difference, but with this one, I still kind of could see some of the pores coming through after a while. They are pretty much, I would say 99.7% the same. So if you're looking to try this out, I would say get a sample. If not, go for the NYX one. This primer I didn't actually have in my collection. I had to go out and buy it and test it out, only to find out I already had it in my collection, and the thing cost me like £14, which I am not happy with. I was like, are you for real right now? I was going through my stuff and I found that I already had it. It's always good to check your collections whenever you do this because you end up buying things you already have, and I do that a lot. Next product is the Urban Decay Naked One palette. Everyone knows about this. Everyone and their mothers and their sisters and aunties, uncles, brothers, friends should know about this palette. So I've been able to find dupes for this palette, and the first one, I actually have two. The first one is the Makeup Revolution Redemption Iconic One palette. And if you look at both palettes, they've literally copied shade for shade on both palettes, on this palette. Like, that is actually ridiculous. Look at that. They're literally the same. There are some shades that might be more pigmented in the Urban Decay Half Baked, which is the gold shade from the Urban Decay. Already one swatch is pretty vibrant, and then the gold from the Makeup Revolution is not as pigmented. I have to kind of swatch it a couple of times, but then when you do actually swatch it, it does look slightly brighter. And then the Anyway Makeup Academy palette also has this. The colours is called Undressed. They have also tried to match the shades from the Urban Decay palette. If I had to choose, I would definitely go for the Makeup Revolution one over the MUA. Next one I have is the Too Faced Semi-Sweet Chocolate Bar Palette. I'm sure a lot of you also heard of this palette as well. And the dupe for this, they have also pretty much tried to copy shade for shade. And this honestly smells like chocolate. I don't even know how they've done it, but it smells edible. It's also from Makeup Revolution, the Salted Caramel palette. So as you can see, they have literally tried to match shade for shade on both palettes. The only difference is the white and the black on the top are kind of swapped around. Like I said before, in terms of color payoff, some shades apply better on the original than the dupe. And when it comes to color payoff, I feel like using the primer or a base will obviously fix that, so it's not really a huge problem. So if you think because some shades might not appear brighter, just use a primer or just use a base. Next one we have is the Bobbi Brown Shimmer Brick, which looks like this. I was able to find the exact same thing, same color placement, and it's the Makeup Revolution again, Makeup Revolution Shimmer Brick in Rose Gold. They both swatch the same, they both have the same kind of pigmentation, so I would definitely, if I'm being honest, I will save my money on this and get this because it does exactly the same thing. Next one I have is the Anastasia Beverly Hills Brow Wiz. This is their brow pencil. The exact dupe to this is the NYX Micro Brow Pencil. They even look exactly the same. They have the pen bit on one side and then the spoolie on the other side. This one to me is more pigmented than this one. But a lot of people rave about this. It's okay, you know, it's a good enough pencil. Next we have the NARS Orgasm Blush. The all famous NARS Orgasm Blush. And the dupe that I think is good enough is the Sleek Blush in Rose Gold. The NARS one has a bit more pink than gold to it, as you can see. Then the Sleek one also has a bit more pink, but the gold kind of shows up a lot more. So if I was to pick, I'd definitely go for the one from Sleek because I feel like it kind of complements a lot more skin tones. Next one we have is MAC's Ruby Woo, which everybody should have known and heard about. Mine's almost literally about to finish. So it looks like this. It's a really gorgeous matte red, and for some reason I have not been able to find one shade that dupes this like exactly. This is what it looks like. It's a gorgeous blue toned red, and it's also supposed to be matte. The thing about Ruby Woo, I have a love-hate relationship. I feel like there are moments where it just literally makes my lips so crusty, so I hardly wear it anymore, but I know it's a very, very popular shade. I was able to find a dupe, but I have to mix two things together. The first one is a ColourPop lipstick in the shade Trust Me from their Matte X range. Now, Matte X on its own is supposed to be a matte shade, but it's not a tugging matte like the MAC one. As you can see, it is slightly brighter than Ruby Woo. What I do is to mix another shade. This is from ColourPop as well, the lippy pencil in the shade Poison, mixed with Poison and Trust Me, and that's Ruby Woo. So I'm not sure how well you can see it, but it should be an exact dupe. To be honest, Ruby Woo is one of those shades where I would actually say invest in, despite the fact that it's very, very drying, because it's universal, everyone can wear that shade. One last thing is the Becca Champagne Pop, and the dupe for this is the Kiko eyeshadow in the shade 208. They're literally exact same dupe. To be honest, I feel like the eyeshadow is a lot more pigmented, as you can see, but they are pretty much the same shade. The Kiko one has a bit more of a shine, as you can see, a little bit more shine to it than the Becca one. So it's really up to you what you're looking for, but in terms of color, matte, they are pretty much the same. So sometimes I feel like the low end ones actually do a lot better than the high end products, just because it's more expensive and more popular doesn't always mean it's the best thing, if that makes sense. So if you want me to do a video on high end makeup that are worth the hype, and drugstore makeup that are worth the hype, let me know as well. Give this video a thumbs up and make sure you subscribe if you haven't already done so you can see more videos like this. And yeah, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye guys.